Welcome to video 40 of Exposing the Beast System. Right now, I need you to forget everything that you have ever learned in this world and start fresh. Start fresh. Well, I've seen that a couple of the subscribers have dropped off of my channel. Well, that's good. That's the trolls leaving. If you don't feed the trolls, they go away. It's wonderful. Good. I'm glad they're gone. I was actually getting them on another channel, someone else's channel, and it's good. Now they're gone. So, we can continue on. You'll see that the thumbs down don't happen, just that's how they work. If you don't feed the trolls, you call them out and you don't feed them, they just go away. Okay? Uh, Now, there's a lot of trickery that goes on. There's a lot of trickery that goes on. And, I'm just out here, one guy, sitting in front of an iPhone, trying to expose some of the trickery. I'm trying to help people to understand that they've been tricked. We've all been tricked. No one is exempt from being tricked, except the trickers, the ones that are pulling the trickery. Those are the ones that know, and well, some of us. You can fool some of the people some of the time, but you cannot fool all of the people all of the time. And that's where we lay. We lay in that little gray area there. That little gray area. Yeah, please remind me to breathe. So my shirt says. It's always a shout out to Bob, my friend Bob. He gave me this shirt a long time ago. Good morning, Bob. Yeah, it's early on a Monday morning. I hope you all had a good weekend. My weekend was great. I always have, every day is a good day for me. I'm happy. I'm blessed. I'm blessed to be here. Blessed to be here, and I get to share some of my knowledge with you people. You know, uh, 9/11. 9/11, a lot of stuff happened behind 9/11. A lot of stuff happened. We got like 5 new federal agencies out of 9/11, and then actually after that, then the Border Patrol set up those nice little canopies on the freeways to slow your movement down and run a car or run a dog through your car if they want to. All kinds of stuff. Just crazy Gestapo stuff. Just getting us used to this. Getting us used to this control. It's just control. They stop you on the freeway and ask you where you're from, what you're doing. Just, it's actually ridiculous. It's ridiculous. It didn't even happen 20 years ago, 25 years ago, whatever. It didn't happen. I can remember as a child standing with one foot in Mexico and one foot in the United States of America, standing actually on the border. Yeah, I can remember doing that as a child. But you can't do that now. Now they have all of that set up down there at the border to check you in and check you out because you are a piece of merchandise to these people. That's exactly what you are, a piece of chattel to be tricked and used in any way, shape, or form they see fit to use you. And that's just the way it is. Okay, so we're going to talk a little bit about 9/11. I've got some comments saying that people want to know my opinion, I guess, on 9/11. Okay, so I'll give it to you. I'll tell you what I think happened, and you know, I'm not really going to discuss any of my theories. I'm just going to tell you what I actually saw and things that I've heard from people. You know, I mean, do we develop theories from that stuff? Of course, but everything that I'm saying is actually based in fact, and it is what it is. It's the facts. So we'll start with the planes. We'll start with the planes. Well, an airplane is made of aluminum. An airplane is made of aluminum. And there is no possible way, shape, or form that an aluminum can, which is what an airplane is, could ever even penetrate a concrete and steel structure. The only thing that would even have a possibility of penetrating even the glass that was inside of the building, any of the glass would be the props from inside the engines. They're made of titanium. That's it. The little shafts, not even the whole wheel. The wheels aren't made of titanium, but the shafts are. So the shafts would have a chance of penetrating the glass. Probably it couldn't penetrate the concrete, and I know it surely couldn't penetrate the steel, even flying at what they say was 538 miles an hour or something like that. Well, I have a little bit of airplane knowledge. Actually, I have a lot of airplane knowledge. I have knowledge of being a pilot, a co-pilot, navigator, communications. I, I have quite a bit of knowledge in all that. And there's no possible way that that airplane, which is shaped like a, I don't know, it's a dirigible is what it is. It's just, airplanes are made to float. They're not really even made to go high speeds. You see the ones that are made to go high speeds because they go high speeds. They're tiny, they're small, and they're just, streamlined, just crazy. They just get airplanes up in the air and just fly them. They're just a big balloon, basically. You know, Airplanes are made to stay aloft. They're not made to do no 270-degree corkscrew turn into a steel and concrete structure and just basically disappear into the building. I mean, that's ridiculous. That's absolutely ridiculous. Anybody that would believe that needs to go take an aluminum can and try to ram it through your picnic table, which is only made of wood, not concrete and steel. Go take an aluminum can, which is what an airplane is. It's what an airplane is, people. And go try to ram it through your picnic table. It doesn't work. The physics isn't there. Physics isn't there. Let alone an aircraft can't fly that fast. There's no possible way that a 757 can go 500 miles an hour. And that close to the ground, they can't even go 350 miles an hour. They're just, there's no way. They would have to be descending. There's no way it could ever even reach 500 miles an hour. It would have to be in a straight, pointed downward spiral with no wings on it, even to get to 350 miles an hour, going straight down that close to the earth. Believe it or not, because it's just the way it's built. They're not streamlined. They're just made to stay aloft. It's just the way airplanes are built. The big ones, they're made to carry people. That's what they're made to carry, people. Because they make money off of that. Okay, and we'll talk a little bit about airplanes. I know about airplanes and I know about APUs and stuff like that, auxiliary power units. They found an APU, I guess something from an APU and an engine down laying on the street. Well, neither one of those items went to anything that hit those buildings. They weren't even an option. It's basically like going down the road and seeing a Chevy car wrecked, and then seeing a Ford motor laying like half a block away. It just, wouldn't even go in it. Wouldn't fit. I mean, it's just ridiculous. But that's just what they sell to people, and the people bite it. They bite on a hook, line, and sinker. What the eyes see and the ears hear, the mind believes. And they know. They use it against us. They use it against us. Okay, now, the bringing down of the towers. Okay, we're not even going to talk anymore about the airplanes because the airplane theory is just nonsense. Airplane couldn't even... I've seen an airplane that hit a building before, hit the glass, didn't even penetrate the glass, people. Didn't even penetrate the glass. Okay? Airplane didn't penetrate the glass. Was the 757? No. But it didn't matter. I mean, you could just... No. There's no way. There's no way. It just doesn't work. Wouldn't even penetrate the glass. Okay, now... When they brought down those buildings, using every kind of weapon that they have. They use every kind of explosive to send every, person down every rabbit hole with these different theories that they were going to come up with. They used every kind of explosive that you could hit it with. Okay, everything. But what you watched that day on television was what's called a controlled demolition. Okay? And all you have to do is look up controlled demolition, and you'll see how they bring buildings down. It's a controlled demolition. Those buildings, there's no possible way that they would just go bang, 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 straight to the ground unless they were in a controlled demolition. But what the eyes see and the ears hear, the mind believes. So they just got told that, and they just believed it. Every news outlet was selling that. It was a controlled demolition. They brought down both of the Twin Towers, and they brought down a couple of other buildings that day. It was all controlled demolition. Even Larry Silverstein's on record saying they decided to pull Building 7. Well, pull is a controlled demolition term to mean bring the building down. Pull the building. That's what it means. And Larry Silverstein owned it and made $3.5 billion off of that. 3.5 billion. Not to mention that was where the gold reserves were underneath World Trade Center 7. Yeah, that was where the gold reserves were. There isn't any more. There isn't any more. It disappeared that day. Whatever was there, whatever they were faking the public out with back then. Yeah. It's just theft on top of fakery, on top of theft, on top of fakery. I mean, it never ends. Okay, now the buildings came down in a controlled demolition. Did people die that day? Yeah, yeah, they did. People died that day. Of course they did. They got blown up. They got blown up, you get caught in the demolition, you get blown up. That's what happens. You know, those CGI planes though, those are ridiculous. If you go back and watch the videos, now, they've got them 20 years later where they have them in slow motion where the wings are disappearing and the tail's disappearing and all of that stuff. Because it was very, very poorly done, actually. Very poorly done. And, but yeah, so what happened that day is I've talked to lots of people, and I can tell you that that morning it was very nice. It was very clear. I've talked to lots of people who were out walking, doing stuff that morning, just out doing stuff, having a busy day. They were enjoying the day. In New York, you don't really get to see a whole bunch of the sky. Not out like where I live. You don't get to see a bunch of the sky. I know what it's like to live in the city. It's no fun. I don't do the city. Don't do the city. I mean, I lived in the city for a while. City was okay. It's just not my cup of tea. So yeah, they said it was beautiful that day. And then they said all of a sudden a bunch of clouds rolled in. Well, those clouds that rolled in were basically cloaked things up there in the sky. That's how they do it. Toyota has had cloaking technology since back in the 70s. You need to look into that if you don't know what it is. It's called cloaking technology, and it just basically make things that they have up there look like clouds, and they just float in. They just float in. That's how it works. But like I said, they hit the World Trade Centers with every kind of weapon. What brought down the World Trade Centers in the controlled demolition? Well, at the top they had probably a bunch of C4 planted to make the explosions, and then shape charges. Shape charges are what brought those buildings down. And then in the bottom, in the under infrastructure, they put thermite down there. They sprinkled some thermite around and just had like a little fission device down there, I'm sure, that would leave some traces of something. Just it is what it is. It's just all about trickery. As long as you're watching what the fission device is doing or wasn't doing or whatever, however it worked, then you're not watching the other hand. And that's just how these people work. They're very tricky, very tricky. They've been running this system for a long time. They've got it down pat. They've got it down pat. And they're actors. They got these warlocks on TV that just sit and cast spells on you and tell you lies, and people bite on it. What they see and what they hear, they believe. And not everybody. Not everybody, and that's the beautiful thing. So yeah, the 9/11, they were brought down. There was directed energy weapons used in 9/11. I've watched steel beams just disappear into a cloud of dust. They were like stretched out. And I was, wow, that's, they do that with sonic weapons. They have those sonic weapons. That's what they use. They use ultra low frequencies. People think they're like super high frequencies. No, they're ultra low frequencies. They can turn metal into dust. I've seen them replicated in numerous different situations, but that day I saw it used to the extent that they can use it. I understand the technology. I understand it. It's called magnetomotive technology. Okay. It's part of 5G, 6G. It's part of all that. Electromagnetic. It's all bundled into one thing. And so what they're pushing on us is what all these towers are and all that stuff. It all works together, folks. And it's not good for us. It's not good for us at all. These radio waves are not good for us. We are not intended to be hit with all of these radio waves, let alone the microwaves that they're getting ready to start hitting us with. We're going to have faster data. Faster data at what price? What microwaves cook from the inside out. We already know that. So what it does, it goes in, it hardens the eggs in the little girls. You have to protect the little girls because they're the ones that are most susceptible. Their little eggs will get hardened and they'll never be able to be fertilized. You just won't be able to have grandkids. They're not going to come and shoot you with a laser ray out of that tower. They're just going to slowly bake you from the inside out. That's what microwaves do. They're going to turn them up, turn it, right now it's like at 5 to 30 hertz. That's what they're measuring the scale at. When they turn it up to 4, 5, 600 hertz, yeah, it's going to be all bad for us. They have the frequencies. They already know what they are. I don't know what they are. I don't have a clue, but I know what they're capable of. And that's just in 5G. Once it goes to 6G, then it's going to even be a lot worse. But your data's going to be faster. Your data's going to be faster. It's crazy. It's crazy what people buy into. Yeah, the world is full of trickery. 9/11, yeah, that was a fateful event. A lot of people died. More people died after the fact, I think, than died actually in it. They died from inhaling all of that dust. They turned those concrete buildings to dust. Turned them to dust. If those buildings would have just fell apart because of heat and all of that, then there just would have been chunks of everything falling, not just turned to dust. Those buildings were turned to dust and brought down in a controlled demolition. Just look it up. Anybody can see what a controlled demolition looks like. Well, just go watch 9/11 and then you'll see. That was all the best equipment used too, folks. That was the best they could do. Wow, they pulled off a real caper that day. They sure did. They sure did. Somebody asked me if I saw that, in a comment, asked me if I saw that video of John Lear. I saw the video of John Lear way back in the day, I don't know, 10 years ago or something. John Lear is an Illuminati puppet. Don't believe a damn thing John Lear says. When he says a airplane isn't capable at speeds, he's absolutely correct. And he knows that any pilot would be like, yeah, you're full of shit, John Lear, if he said otherwise. That's what has to give him his legitimacy. But John Lear doesn't know jack shit about airplanes. John Lear is just a puppet, pure and simple, just like all the rest of them. Okay. So now we understand a little bit more about 9/11 and the hoax that was pulled off. Basically what you saw was a controlled demolition, and a lot of innocent people got caught up that day. All of those people that inhaled that dust from that concrete, yeah, that was just horrible. I couldn't imagine that. And all just everything that it brings with it. It's absolutely sickening. Makes me sick to even think about it. These people, they have no conscience. They don't give a shit about us at all. They don't care. They don't care. Like I said before, and I'll say it again, if you think they care about you, just don't pay your property taxes for a couple of years, and the people you pay to protect you will come and take your house. Okay? That's how friendly the system is. That's how free you are. You're not free. You're not free. Not by any means. You are controlled, and being more controlled every day. Every day. If you drive a newer than a 2009 car, they can shut your car off whenever they want. Just so you know that. Just so you know that. They can shut your car down whenever they want. They can just push a button and your car won't start anymore. Unless you know how to fire it back up, unless you have the knowledge to put it together and, do what you got to do to get it going. Yeah. It's amazing what they've been able to pull off. Yeah. All in the name of technology, folks. All in the name of technology. Yeah. You need to get technology out of your life as much as you can. You guys need to put down the smartphones. Put them down. Don't give them to your kids. I understand that they entertain your children. I understand that. The iPads and all that crap. You need to take them away from them and let them go outside and play. Let them go outside and play. Let them go climb a tree. Let them go do something else besides be on an iPad or a computer. And with that, I'm going to close for the day. Get off the iPad. Get off the computer. Go outside. Hope y'all have a blessed week.